Farm, we've got a crowd of many reporters. So you just take your camera and go?
Yeah. Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's like I'm not going to go cover a wildfire.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go do a stakeout.
That's crazy.
Yeah. One month, Uber, just Ubers was like $1,300.
Maybe you figure this should be the
Yeah, it's like the bean counters in New York. I think they're like saving money.
Rob.
Hey Rob.
Hey,
how are
nice
you?
to meet you.
Good to see you.
Just walked into a
Yeah, the ears bleeding. You can see Netflix now. There's more press.
Hey there, sir. She's good. Yep.
Looking at traffic because I was going to run across. In the backpack, rolled around.
You hold this. Come off the sticks. We'll walk over. At 10:30 supposed to be when
The walkout is.
Yeah. 3 minutes. Say again? I'm gonna ignore that then.
Let's just wait until.
What's that?
So I'm not the only one thinking like that. My passion will be around for 15 minutes.
I'm not afraid to be here today. Tell you movie Cuties. I'm going to set it in space. Cuties 2. Thank you. We're out here to show our support for jokes, comedies, and everything for life together. And I love it. We want to make sure everybody here and jokes. You are transphobic. You are
I'll follow wherever you point at.
Because comedy is.
But let's go to the signs over here.
They would not be. Go ahead. basically it.
Nobody's giving you advice. Give me advice, and I got my own.
Can we talk to you, man?
You're the one that wants
Hey,
to
hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Yeah.
First, I'll ask you your name and your age and where you're from.
I'm not going to give you my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but why are you out here today?
I'm here because the transgender cult kidnapped 2 of my children and transformed their bodies in ways they can't change, and I'm damn angry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How to protect?
I have children. Yeah, I have children. And children are being put on a one-way path to permanent body destruction. Through the transgender ideology, they're being told when they're 3-4 years old that they're really a boy in a girl body and a girl in a boy body. Then they're socially transitioned. After that comes puberty blockers. And then comes wrong sex hormones and lifelong sterility and sexual dysfunction. You know, a 4-year-old can't decide that they're not going to have an orgasm because they don't know. They don't know any better. And after that, it's surgery. And if we just left them alone and gave them some therapy and helped them work through their problems in a loving way, an awful lot of them would come to be happy in their bodies. And I would say that'd be a whole hell of a lot better outcome. That's where I'm from. And I also think that free speech is free speech.
Okay, thank you.
Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter.
Close. It's loud out here.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Ma'am,
We just ask you about why you're down here today.
Sorry, I actually would rather not be on camera.
Okay, that's fine, that's
Can
fine.
we talk to you, sir? Either of you? Why you're here? You're not, you're representing something. Can you?
Who are you guys with?
We're with Reuters. With Reuters. Company called Reuters.
We have a 8-year-old boy who's trans.
So how are you feeling today, and why is it being so important to come out here today, if you want to tell us?
I'm feeling really emotional. That's all I can say.
We're here to support the trans community and to say that yes, there is freedom of speech, but you don't have to be mean when you make jokes.
Yeah.
You know, an understanding is a little bit, I think Dave Chappelle, a funny person, needs to understand a little bit more about the jokes he's making and how they can affect people.
And what do you think about Ted Sarandos' latest sort of like stepping back, sort of, he did a half an apology yesterday.
I mean, it's good that he put something out, but it came out a little late, obviously. I think it was the least amount he could do.
Can I get your names on tape?
What?
Do you want to give him your names?
What are your names?
Dawn Barry and Mike Barry.
Okay, thank you. And how do I
Yeah.
spell your last name?
B-A-R-Y.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Let's not stand around. Let's do some more.
Okay.
Did I say the right thing?
Can we talk to you guys about what you're here for? Why you're here?
Sure.
So, can I first,
I'm going to turn you around so that we have that. Thanks.
firstly, can I get your name on tape?
Joe Cristalli.
And Joe Pasquale.
Cristalli.
How do I spell that?
Cristalli.
And how do I spell your first name, Joe? Is it with an E or not?
Joe.
J-O-E. So why are you out here today, Joe?
Because I think there's a right to say what you want to, but you don't necessarily need to if you're not giving it context. And I think Netflix being such an enormous platform, it's sort of given license to people who don't happen to live in liberal cities and liberal states the confidence to make the kinds of jokes that Dave's making at people's expense with no real consequences, which feels unfortunate and unfair. We have a trans daughter, and I'm not completely worried about her in this state, in this city, but if we lived somewhere else, I'd be more terrified, and I'm still terrified here of what's going to happen.
What do you think about Ted Sarandos did an interview yesterday, like sort of backtracking about things? What do you think about that?
It's a good start. I mean, it's a good start. I don't think anybody needs to be... What Dave says, I mean, if you watch the whole thing, he makes a lot of poignant, nice points, and you have like human moments in it, but it's just surrounded in just so much hate that Netflix, it'd be great if they either took it down or put some sort of warning in front of it that said, this is not good for impressionable people. This is not good for simple-minded people that aren't going to be able to follow what the real attempt at subversive comedy is.
Exactly. Could I get your age and where you're from? Are you from Los Angeles?
I live here now, but I'm from Connecticut. I'm 35.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jay.
Happy to.
Thank you.
Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter.
Wait a minute. People tell me I have a small dick all the time. All the time. I'm not weak. Whatever.
Guy in the pebbles.
Wait a minute. I won't say that.
Sure. So, firstly, can I get your name on tape?
Yeah, my name is David Huggard. I'm a non-binary individual. I also go by the persona of Eureka O'Hara, which has been debuted on RuPaul's Drag Race, Season 9, 10, All-Star 6, and HBO's We're Here.
Okay, can I, first name you go, can you spell that for me?
David, D-A-V-I-D, H-U-G-G-A-R-D, and then Eureka, E-U-R-E-K-A-O-H-A-R-A.
Amazing. So, firstly, why is it so important to be out here today?
Yeah, no, it's important to be out here today because we have to stand in solidarity with each other. Obviously, Ashley Marie Preston is a great advocate and a huge sister of mine, also a trans woman. As a non-binary person, we as trans people and non-binary people aren't getting visibility or respect in the entertainment industry to begin with. And to have something like Dave Chappelle's special not be noted that it's promoting discrimination and hate conversation is very hurtful to the activism and the cause that we're trying to progress ourselves in the industry.
What do you think? There are counter-protesters here. What do you think of that?
The counter-protesters are disheartening, and it's sad to see that they are using the expression of laughing in the faces of people's pain and hurt and suffering. And I don't think that they understand what they're doing, but they are promoting and causing hate conversation and also allowing people to think that it's okay to discriminate against those trans and non-binary individuals. I was also misgendered, disrespected by some of them, and it just shows that we are still working on growth. And it's my duty as a person not of color and as a non-binary individual to stand by specifically my trans brothers and sisters and everything in between of color as a white person with privilege, because they need to know that there are people standing beside them when the people that are at the table in those powerful, responsible positions aren't showing that support and that respect.
And what do you think about Ted Sarandos' interview with Variety, sort of backtracking somewhat?
I always notice the backtrack, but at the same time, at least it's a start. It's a start of an apology. It's a start of a conversation saying that they're not going to put up with extended hate and discrimination at the benefit of others, specifically trans and non-binary individuals.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm the first openly trans person to run for California state office. So that's thank you. So, and I would have never been able to do those things had it not been for people on the outside of these institutions and structures who were advocating for my ability to advance. And so it feels great, but it feels more important to make sure that we leave the door open for those coming behind us. And so we do that by showing up in the way that we're showing up today.
And how do people follow up with you and your organization?
I'm sorry?
How do people reach you and follow up with you and or your organization?
Oh, I'm everywhere. I'm on social media, Ashley Marie Preston at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. But today, really more than anything, I want people to follow up on the people that are doing the work. I'm not here to center myself and my career and all of that. To be honest with you, the only reason why I'm here, just to be clear, is that the employees have actually been gagged. They can't say anything. They can't talk to press. They have to be very careful because there are higher ups that are gunning for people, that are threatening people that if they leak anything, if they say anything, if they speak out of turn, then they're gone. They've already fired one person. They already tried to suspend another. So we've seen very clear examples of how honesty and straightforwardness and candor is rewarded with termination. It's rewarded with the threat of your ability to survive in your livelihood. And so the only reason why I'm using my platform to speak about this is because I have nothing to lose in this, and that my entire career, everything that I've done has been about pushing boundaries. It has been about holding people accountable. It has been about letting them know that we are not afraid, that we will no longer stay silent, and that more than anything, we help build this company, and so we are active shareholders. You know, I'm trying to get the people who are standing in solidarity, the employees who work here, the people who are on the front line fighting for human rights, for all of us to know that we have invested so much into these institutions and companies, and we're not walking away without a fight. And so we're here to let them know that as active shareholders, as community stakeholders, we expect more. The same way they cater and kowtow to their investors and shareholders who pour money into these companies, we also pour social equity into these spaces. We are the idea generators. We are the innovators. We are the forward leaders of thought. And so we have to protect that. And so that's why we're here today, just to be clear. Dave Chappelle doesn't get to suck all of the light out of that. We're not even here to acknowledge him. As far as I'm concerned, his comedy's been dry since the early 2000s. He's not even the Chappelle that I even loved when I grew up. I used to worship Dave Chappelle. I used to admire the fire in his mind, the outside thinking, like he thought outside the box, and he was someone that I actually looked up to. But he's clearly sold himself. And so since he can't do the right thing, then I'm here to talk to his master today. And those are the people who signed the paycheck. And so we want them to know that that's no longer acceptable. And so if you invest money in that direction, then you lose it in this direction. Sorry.
Can I check in with you? Thank you. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back. Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
Wait. Excuse me.
Should we do the right here for a second?
One question, please.
I'm going to speak in a second. Okay, I have to
Okay, everybody.
They're doing the speeches.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you all for coming out today. We're going to begin the speaking portion of the program. So if you all want to move in and kind of be a part of community with us today, that'll be greatly appreciated.
You can grab the tripod.
We're going to start the speaking portion of the program. So for those of us who are standing in solidarity with the trans employees, let's not feed the trolls, please, because they're only here because they're afraid of what they're about to lose. So let's divest from that. Let's pull in and let's be in high vibrational community with one another, please. So my name is Ashley Marie Preston, and I am the organizer for the Stand Up and Solidarity Rally, and I thank all of you for being here today in support of the employees at Netflix of trans and non-binary experience and their allies and accomplices. I think the message that many people expect for us to deliver today is one around why it's important to cancel Dave Chappelle. And so I want to make it very clear that this isn't an instance of cancel culture, because I've invited Dave Chappelle to have transformative dialogue with us on multiple occasions. And he has made it clear that it is not of interest to him. So just to be clear, this isn't cancel culture, but an avoidance of accountability when we've invited you to be a part of the repair that it takes to be able to not only heal culture, but to move all of us forward. And so that being said, I'm here today to talk to the people that signed the check, because Dave Chappelle doesn't have the capacity or the power to sign his own check. It is about Netflix. And more importantly, it isn't just about Netflix, it's about a corporate culture that manipulates the algorithmic sciences to distort the way that we perceive ourselves and one another. It is the emergence of hate economy, of corporations profiting and making money off of us getting at one another's throats. They're making money out of our inability to understand intersectionality and what it means. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the term intersectionality, it describes multiple threats of discrimination when an individual's identity overlaps with multiple marginalized communities. So what that means is that even though Dave Chappelle can be from an oppressed community, he still has the capacity to become the oppressor. And so we're here to talk about the ways in which we can't have tokenization be the example of what solidarity looks like. We need to have difficult and complex conversations that move us forward. And I was really troubled when Ted, the co-CEO and chief content officer, decided that what's said on content, on TV, films, none of that has any real impact offline. And I think that that's very myopic, considering you have a documentary called Disclosure that is by the trans community, for the trans community, that thoroughly unpacks the ways that public perceptions of trans people and tropisms that are created become real violence off screen and offline. And so the thing that I felt most troubled by is not only was Ted unwilling to hear the community, not only was he willing to listen to the people who consume the content, who decide what feels right for them to watch and not, he didn't listen to the actual employees that many times these companies tokenize as signs of inclusion and diversity, but they actually many times aren't in positions of power to be able to make decisions at the table. They don't have the same equity. They don't have the same opportunity. They're not decision makers. They're often the people, even as we speak, they're walking out in solidarity with community and we're showing up for them, but they still can't even speak to press. They're still being threatened on the inside and gagged and told that they can't talk about the culture inside of Netflix. And I think it's important that we talk about the importance of shifting that culture because of the simple fact that I am actually someone who is a friend of the Netflix community. I have actually done corporate trainings for Netflix. I trained their global offices. I am someone that has showed up when they've had controversial content aired before that shook the community up, and I actually held forums and one-on-one conversations that allowed community to be heard and that gave Netflix an opportunity to improve it and fix it. And so as someone who knows that some of the most beautiful people you can meet are on the other side of those walls, I'm here to let Ted know that if he won't stand up for their rights, we will. And that's the reason why we're here today. We are here today not because we don't know how to take a joke. We're here because we're concerned that the jokes are taking lives. And that's not a laughing matter. We're here today because it's important for us to be able to name where the harm is specifically in the content that's being created, and also to approach the conversation with diplomacy, because there are some people that are like, why are you listening to him? He's a liar, he's trash, he's, this, that, and the other. That's not how repair works. We have a very clear framework for what it means to listen, okay, to then have a response and not a reaction, and then to be able to talk about tangible solutions that are going to correct the harm that has been done. And so today we have a couple of friends in the community and speakers who are going to come out. They're going to share their experiences and their voices, and they're also going to talk about the ways that Netflix can be more intentional about repairing the harm. So first up, I have a close friend and someone who is an amazing woman who has been a friend to the community. So I want to now pass the mic to Stephanie Shine, who is our wonderful mayor pro tem of West Hollywood.
Hi everyone, so for safety purposes, we're going to just pour in. So if you guys can pour into that side, and us, the speakers are going to move in there, okay? Just for safety purposes. Thank you for being here today. right there, and everybody will pour in. This is perfect. Thank you. Space me. We're going to face this way. Yeah. Right. If our supporters will just pile up behind us, please. And the press, please just stay right where you are. Lovely. Thank you for being here today. Thank you so much. It means a lot. If our supporters want to please pour in behind the speakers, please. Thank you. So we can continue our speaking portion. Press, continue to please pour the press. Supporters, please move behind the speakers in solidarity. Thank you everyone for being here today. Hello, my name is Seppi Shine, and I'm the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of West Hollywood, and I'm also an elected delegate for Assembly District 50 to the California Democratic Party. I want to thank Ashley Marie Preston, who is an incredible activist, woman, and hero, and Trans Lifeline, and all the folks who have worked hard to organize this walkout and rally. And I want to thank everyone who's here in support and all the trans and non-binary folks that came here, because I know how dangerous it is every time you step out of your
Thank you.
I appreciate that you admitted that you screwed up, and you definitely did screw up. But admitting that and not creating change does nothing. Now is the time to make substantive changes by listening to the asks that are made today and making sure that you do them. And if you have any doubts about the asks, go watch your own Netflix special, Disclosure, again, please. The time is now to change how we think about the entertaining world. We need more trans and non-binary contents and creatives, and trans characters should be played by trans people. Your trans and non-binary employees should feel safe at work, and there needs to be opportunities for trans and non-binary leadership at Netflix and all corporations and organizations and city government as well.
All right now.
Just hiring a trans or non-binary person does not cut it, by the way. We need inclusivity and equity. The City of West Hollywood and all of us support, and we love our trans and non-binary siblings. And I am in this fight with you until you have equity in all spaces and safety as well. Thank you for
Thank you so much. And for those of you who are just joining, that is what this conversation is about today. Dave Chappelle doesn't get to suck the light out of this moment. This is a moment where we are coming together in a unified effort. We saw the way that our friends and allies in Paris stood up. We saw how they stood up in London. We saw the way they stood up in Amsterdam. We saw the way they stood up in Japan this morning. And I think that this is a moment where, again, we get to break away from this algorithmic pull that has us convinced that we all hate each other. Because we don't. We all don't hate each other. This is we understand that it's one for all and all for one, and we won't stop until justice is won. And that is why we're here today. So next up, I want to invite another friend, David Huggins, but many of you know them as Eureka from RuPaul's Drag Race, the HBO special, We Are Here.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I first want to say I stand in solidarity beside my sister, Ashley Marie Preston, first and foremost at this event today. She has proven herself as an activist, also a friend and a loved one to many people in her embarkment on activism. So thank you so much. Give this woman a huge round of applause, this beautiful young woman. Thank you so much for the invitation. I want to first say, as a non-binary individual, my name is David Huggard. As an entertainer and a persona, it is Eureka O'Hara, RuPaul's Drag Race. We're here at HBO. I found myself as a drag queen. I found myself as a person through that expression. Identity, expression, and sexuality are three completely different things, and I need everyone to understand that. But first, before anything else, understand that your jokes are promoting hateful and discriminatory behavior and conversation. And that is what hurts us. That is what is hurting us. It is not the fact that you laughed at it. It's the fact that you're laughing in the face of our pain. You're laughing in the face of us telling you that what you said wasn't okay and it's affecting people in a negative way. As we move out of a pandemic, we all had a year where we all had to feel alone. We all had to feel afraid. Well, now we come out of that pandemic and we stand together as one. Whether you're trans, whether you're a person of color, whether you're non-binary, whether you're a white privileged person like I am that gets to step into this world with a different amount of privilege. So it is my responsibility with that privilege to make my voice louder alongside people that do not have the opportunity to speak out loud without being shot, without being murdered, without being hit, without being torn down to an inch of their life, being forced into sex work, being forced to not have a legible living life because they don't get the respect they deserve at work, they don't get the roles of power that they deserve, and they don't get the recognition for the creativity that they have. I will not speak any longer because I want my moment to not take up as much space as hopefully other trans people of color here today, other non-binary people, and anyone else that wants to stand in solidarity for people of difference that are hurting, and it's time to create. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Eureka. And thank you so much for breaking down what solidarity and allyship and community look like. And I think the other thing that I want to name as it pertains to jokes, the thing is, no one gets to access experiences that don't belong to them. So when we talk about, oh, it's just a joke, it's not the same as me as a black trans woman making jokes about something that happens within my own respective community. And one of the most violent things, to be honest, of the special, I think, was when it compared trans women living in our most authentic self with blackface. It implied that we were committing violence against cisgender women because we were living as who we are. And I think that one of the most cognitively dissonant things about that statement is that blackface is violent. And what made blackface violent is that there were white entertainers who were accessing experiences that didn't belong to them and creating tropes that exacerbated violence toward black people off screen. And so for you to be able to name the violence in that, but not name the violence in a cis hetero man, co-opting trans experiences and making fun of them, that, if anything, it's the other way around. Us living our identity isn't an example of that kind of harm, but doing that kind of thing is. And so I want to bring up another friend and community leader, organizer, beautiful, brilliant woman that many of you... Speaking of which, she just introduced herself. She actually just introduced herself. So please help me welcome Blossom Brown. Grab them. Y'all so hard. Grab them, didn't it? Oh, baby. I'm sorry. We got a full moon in Aries, so I'm amped up. How y'all doing? I'm tired. I'm tired of this capitalistic structure that always wants to take trans bodies and the trans experience to make money, to get clout, to get attention, to make a special that was so harmful to trans people. I'm actually ready to dismantle the capitalistic structure that's trying to keep us down. Number one, let's make some noise. We gotta talk about it. We're not gonna stand here. Let me be very clear. We are not gonna stand here and be complicit and not talk about it. We can't move forward if we can't talk about the capitalism that is affecting us. My trans siblings are hurting. Netflix, how dare you do this to your trans employees? How dare you put a man
on your network to be so disrespectful to the trans experience, to trans people who work so hard for you, who put in their blood, sweat, tears, and energy for you to make sure your network is running. How dare you, Netflix? How dare you stand on this side that is killing trans people? Dave Chappelle has opened up the door for more transphobic violence with these jokes. And I am tired. But just because I'm tired doesn't mean I'm not inspired. Don't get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted, baby. Because I'm much more inspired. Because as an actress, producer, activist, inspirational speaker, professional tarot reader, astrologist, numerologist, and certified spiritual life coach, I'm ready for the work. And let me tell you something about this brand new day. Today, on this full moon in Aries, it is time to make a change. It's time to release the old and break in new. What needs to happen, if the CEO at Netflix wants to make it right with trans people, give your trans employees a raise right now. Give them a raise right now for their hard work, for their hard labor, and for putting their trauma out for the world to see. My trans siblings who are at Netflix, I stand 100% in solidarity with you. Today is my 35th birthday. It is my 35th birthday. Black trans women do not get to see the age of 35. So I am living proof along with my sister here. We are living proof that you can thrive after 35. Do you feel me? Because we coming. And P.S., the way I'm about to move in my 35th year, I'm ready to read, publish, and issue folks out in bookstores everywhere if you're going to come for the trans community. I'm ready. So today is going to be a new day, new energy. It's time to level up, accomplish this, do what you're supposed to be doing, calling out the transphobia when we're not around, the homophobia when we're not around, the misogyny, call it out. We are here and we are not going anywhere. And I want to empower each and every one of you today who is here because you want to make change, to make sure that when you leave here that the work continues, that you continue to research about the trans experience and show up how you can show up. Donate to trans-led organizations. Donate to trans-led organizations or who are in grassroots that are doing the work. And make sure we take care of our Netflix trans siblings. Thank y'all.
Next up, I'm going to invite a friend and fellow creative, Leon Elias Wu, who is going to share right now.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Leon Elias Wu. I'm the founder of Sharp Suiting and Sharp House. I'm a gender-expansive fashion designer and entertainment producer and BIPOC trans activist. First, I'd like to just go ahead and talk about Dave Chappelle since we're talking about him, right? Now, I grew up watching Dave Chappelle with my family. We played his stand-up during dinner. We love what Dave Chappelle did sometimes. Also, I do not believe in cancel culture, canceling Dave Chappelle or anybody. Furthermore, I do not believe in dragging people. Dragging people ends lives. What I do believe in is learning and growth. I grew up watching Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, and Living Color, SNL, and I've also been one to say recently, maybe people are too sensitive and I miss the old days when we could poke fun at each other. But what was funny to me back then in the 90s is not actually funny to me today. I've changed. Things have changed for the better. One thing I know for sure, it's not funny when I watch Disclosure documentary, also on Netflix, and realize that this whole time I've been brainwashed by popular culture to feel bad about who I am. It's not funny when I look back at the time and money I spent in therapy. It's not funny when a trans kid who reminds me of myself all the way in Taiwan DMs me crying saying they don't see any hope for themselves. And then I see that not enough progress has been made. I truly believe we are here in this world to celebrate each other, to learn, educate, and grow from each other. Comparing blackface to trans women is not a congruent joke or comparison. Trans women are not dressing as women to make fun of women. Trans women are women. And a person does not need to produce, deliver, or birth a child to be a woman. Goes for women, trans or cis. On the content we create, direct, produce, and distribute to the world. I mean, just look back at what we've done to ourselves in the past 2 years during the pandemic. We've seen so much misinformation, sensationalized news, irresponsible publicity in social media, and how much harm that can do to us. It's time to take more social responsibility on what is ethical and entertainment, what is newsworthy, what information is positive, helpful, or innovative to share in the world. Thank you very much for letting me share. I stand in solidarity with my friend Ashley Marie Preston and the trans and non-binary employees at Netflix.
Everybody under the sound of my voice say freedom. Everybody under the sound of my voice say freedom. Freedom. Now everybody under the sound of my voice take we are. I stand in solidarity with the powerful individuals, Ashley Marie Preston, for organizing this wonderful event to hold people accountable. Give a round of applause for Ashley Marie Preston. I am Never Ending Nina. I stand with my community, the trans community, because we are tired. everybody